It's a world most can only dream about, a playground for the ultra-rich and famous.
In the past, people were building cathedrals and churches and hospitals, and all kinds of things to put their name on. A yacht is a little bit of that as well, you know?
Everyone, I think, dreams of having that way to escape the rat race, and the yacht offers the ultimate opportunity to do that.
This is the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show. Some of the most luxurious and impressive yachts are on display as far as the eye can see.
This is a 200-footer, so that would be a super yacht.
Dan Leonard designed some of the world's most luxurious mega yachts.
We did this one also.
The ultimate status symbol.
Purse has a price tag, a watch has a price tag. Nothing compares to these price tags.
And for the richest of the rich, it's not just yachts, it's super yachts. One of the rarest super yachts, a sailing yacht worth $40 million, the Bayesian. The ship, dubbed unsinkable by some, setting sail off the coast of Sicily this August, before the unthinkable happened.
This morning, desperate efforts to find 6 missing people after a luxury yacht sank 160 feet down to the sea floor.
How a boat like Bayesian could have gone down so quickly. It just doesn't happen. This doesn't happen.
Even more shocking, the billionaire tech mogul who owned the ship among the missing, setting off a full-scale rescue mission and an investigation.
Ho ritenuto verosimile la sussistenza dei reati in questione, omicidio colposo e naufragio colposo.
It's haunting. It's terrifying. Make no mistake about it. We want to know what happened.
And the epic tragedy raising questions about how those once on top of the world could end up at the bottom of the sea in 16 minutes.
There is a sort of Titanic quality about it, the thrill of human achievement, and then the devastation when it goes wrong.
The odds of what happened happening are so infinitesimal that it would not be on the tote board in Las Vegas.
And if there's more to the story,
It's given birth to countless conspiracy theories.
Yeah, it has.
I've heard many that Mike was close to the intelligence communities in England and the United States, and he was warehousing secret information. Crazy stuff. I don't know how you make a tornado at sea because you want to get Mike Lynch.
What we're seeing now is a melding of technology and the creative industries.
Mike Lynch was known as the British Bill Gates.
I think it's more Steve Jobs. I do. Mike, by intelligent people, was the grandfather of AI and completely changed the world with his brilliance.
He named this boat after this mathematical approach to the world, this idea of Bayesian probability.
A billionaire, both beloved and embattled. For the last few years, he'd faced the real possibility of dying in prison, accused of overinflating the cost of his company by billions. But his against-all-odds legal victory earlier this summer changed everything. A reversal of fortune he pondered with Danny Fortson from the Sunday Times of London.
And so now it's very strange. You have a new life, you know. And that comes to the question you're asking me, which is what do you want to do with your new life?
This was a trip to celebrate this second life, as he had called it.
I think he needed a holiday. They were going on the boat.
It was a beautiful sunny day when Lynch and his wife Angela, along with their 18-year-old daughter Hannah, 9 guests, and a crew of 10, boarded the Bayesian in August. The trip, a celebration for Hannah, too. The young poet and literature lover was due to attend Oxford in the fall.
There's so many hyper-intelligent and successful people that get where they are because they're sort of pushing other people down, but that wasn't her at all. She was happy to be the best at something, but wanting other people to be the best in their own way and like bringing them up. She knew how to unabashedly have fun too, for sure.
Also on the Bayesian, a group of business moguls, high-powered attorneys and their families, including a 1-year-old baby. Chris Morvillo, Lynch's friend and a member of his legal team, had nudged his wife Netta, a jewelry designer, to go on the trip.
I had heard he had to do some convincing to get Netta to go. Netta liked to travel, but Netta also liked to be at home, and she didn't want to, be away from her family.
Greg Morvillo is one of Chris Morvillo's brothers.
Chris and Netta met in law school. When we would get together, they would be sitting together. His arm would be around her. They would be holding hands.
Pictures online displaying the interior of the British-flagged vessel, the 6 luxurious suites, the crew waiting on every need. Its single aluminum mast was one of the tallest in the world, standing around 240 feet, like 25 stories in the air.
It was just thrilling. It was like one of those old ships you can imagine, from history, and it's this giant boat, and on, as you build up the speed, if there's some wind, you're tilting on one side.
It was amazing indeed. One of the nicest Italian sailboats ever.
Marcello Melli helped organize logistics for the trip. He says everything started out business as usual. The Bayesian arrived in the small fishing village of Porticello on August 18th. It was the last full day of the trip. The guests planned to leave the yacht the following afternoon. It was a Sunday, and a storm was brewing.
It was unusual to see a boat at anchor with that specific weather that was expected. We did send an email to the captain, just checking what was the plan, and if he required any service, any assistance.
Melli says he never received a reply back. Those on board that dazzling vessel were going to sleep for the night. The storm barreling through in the early morning of August 19th. A nearby restaurant captured the scene. Intense winds whipping through, creating chaos. Tracking data shows at 3:50 in the morning, the superyacht was struggling. The winds sending the ship zigzagging out of control. Karsten Bonner was captaining a nearby sail yacht, the Sir Robert Baden-Powell.
We noticed weather coming, and when it appeared, we started our engine to keep the ship in position, and we had the other yacht behind us. And a moment later, she was gone.
This image from CCTV showing the mast's light disappear in the storm. Within 16 minutes of being struck by what investigators believe was a downburst, with winds of at least 60 miles an hour, the boat sunk backwards by the stern before tilting on its right side. Plummeting onto the seabed, the Bayesian was gone.
Downburst winds can oftentimes be mistaken for tornadoes because they can be quite severe and quite scary if you don't know what's going on. The really destructive phase of a downburst is incredibly short. That's going to be when the initial strong winds arrive, and that will only last for a minute or so.
The 22 souls on board forced to make split-second life-or-death decisions. Among those who scrambled out alive, 9 crew members and 6 passengers. But 6 passengers and 1 crew member were missing. Among them, Mike Lynch and his daughter Hannah.
We were just watching the news and praying. I just couldn't bear the thought of them being trapped.
And the Morvillos, Chris and Netta.
When I got the call, it was obviously disorienting. I didn't know quite what the hell was going on. I held it together on the phone and then got off the phone, probably burst into tears.
Search and rescue teams descended on the scene for days, but all of those missing did not make it. The bodies of the passengers were all found in cabins on the left side of the ship, closest to the surface, where air bubbles would have been concentrated, according to investigators.
They were, 100 feet down, 150 feet down, in the dark, in the cold, with just, with a dwindling supply of oxygen.
I think about the last few moments for them on the ship all the time. It's haunting. It's terrifying. And I cannot imagine what they were going through. I can't imagine how it felt or what they knew. It is impossible to wrap my mind around, it, but I can't stop thinking about it.
Our thanks to Juju. For more on this story, including exclusive interviews, watch Impact by Nightline's Sinking of the Superyacht, Gone in 16 Minutes, now streaming on Hulu.